All right, so here we are. We're back at the half. The Eagles are losing, not by shocking surprise, 14-3. Could have almost been 14-6, but unfortunately, the cards are not falling in a direction where the Eagles should go. We also noticed with Adams earlier that there should have been a play through. I gotta remove this for a second. Sorry, folks. Knock it off. There we go. So, unfortunately, there should have been a call, at least called back by Doug. And
this for a second.
Why am I hearing an echo? So there should have been unfortunately, a call played back by Doug, which wasn't called. Originally, when they went for it, that they said he came up short on the one. He never had reception of the ball whatsoever. He didn't have it. Then the one after that was Adams in the end zone where he caught the ball in the air. And to me, at least it looked, according to the camera, and maybe they'll show it here at the half, is that he was in the air and it looked like 1 foot touch, but his second foot never made contact. Now, I know in college football they can get away with it, but in the NFL, you're not allowed to get away with something like that. So Carson had plenty of opportunities to throw the ball away. Once again, we're hanging on to the ball. He cost himself some yardage, 2 sacks, going backwards for 13 yards. Here we go again, guys. Here we go again. It becomes the same nonsense. And I'm watching the comments coming in. Benny Two Tacos says, "Go Pack, go." Interesting icon there. And Mark Betty says he caught the ball, bro, both times. Well,
I don't know. I mean, that first catch that Adams had, Doug should have reviewed it. I would have thrown the red flag in a heartbeat. I mean, there was plenty of time left on the clock. I mean, that's a big mistake by Doug right there.
I would like to see, this is where I wish the kind of instant replay was available to everybody, because I would like for Mark to go back and take a look at it, because when he caught the ball, there was no actual reception because he ended up catching it and then rolling it, and actually the ground assisted on that call or on the on the catch. So it was more of a ground assist than it was him actually catching the ball. There wasn't also that 2-step that they keep talking about all the time, is reception and 2 steps in the process. So to me, Mark, it looked like he didn't catch him, but if that's what you saw, then maybe you had a better angle than I did as far as being able to watch it. Mike Klein down there from Tampa Joe says, "Oh no, we suck again," and that seems to be the tail of the tape so far, as Green Bay is finding a way to win. The good thing was initially, it looked like for primarily the first quarter that the Eagles were able to at least keep the defense off the field and keeping the same way with Aaron Rodgers off the field, which was a good thing. But now leading up to the half, here comes the defense once again, having to take up extra additional time onto the field. So now, gentlemen, I ask, what's going to be an adjustment here for the second half?
I would just keep running the ball. I mean, you dominated the first half clockwise. I mean, mix it up with Goddard's getting involved, Ertz is getting involved. I mean, keep mixing up the play call. I mean, how many times has Carson Wentz been sacked? At least 3 or 4 times.
Too many times today. And they just need to make sure that they don't let this game get away from them at this point. Green Bay is going to get the ball to start the second half. If they go down and drive for a touchdown to make it 21-3, it could be a long afternoon for the Eagles. It's really a shame because they had a first drive in the beginning of the game where they took close to 7 minutes off the clock, and they ended up getting points. Green Bay got the ball, and they went 1, 2, 3 and out. But since then, Green Bay has found a way to do well with the passing game. The Eagles' run defense has kept the Green Bay Packers in check. So they really need to do their job for the second half and keep Green Bay in check, get the ball back, and try to move the ball, run the ball, and put some points on the board. Keep this game close.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is already 13 for 14 with 161 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, if anyone can cheer up real quick here, as far as maybe the people viewing the show, and again, we thank you guys, is this guy here, of course, became a big fan last week, Joey B. What's up, fellas? What's up, Joey?
What's up, Joe?
And,
how are you?
Joey, how you doing?
Well, he's about to tell you how he's doing, but this one here, he's telling you to start drinking heavily.
I'm past that stage. This team can't make me drink anymore.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm a realist. It's what it is. Right now, they're beating themselves.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Flat out.
only 10 at Tampa
Great.
Joe's team is killing our game day attendance totals. Just saying that is true, Mike. It's unfortunate. The fun thing was, before we get back here to the commentary, the great thing was if you were down at Tampa Joe's, like the way I was for the first time last season when Philly to South was moved to Tampa Joe's, the place was packed. It started with like low numbers, and then eventually it became really packed, and it was a lot of fun, especially when the Eagles started making the push towards the very end. It was a lot of fun, but thanks to COVID, it changed things around. So it's unfortunate for Mike Klein and Mike Goodwin at Tampa Joe's because we used to pack the place, but unfortunately the team's not doing that well. COVID's not making anything better, so it's unfortunate. Whoops, sorry. Before Joey, I'll get back to you in a second. Mark says, is it possible we are worse than the Jets?
No,
Absolutely.
no.
Joey B goes,
Joey B says, I went to Wawa and had a hoagie while Aaron Rodgers sat in the pocket for the last touchdown throw.
Aaron Rodgers was sitting back there with a beer and a sandwich and maybe 5 more beers.
Listen, we talked about it in a pregame show, and the only difference this week was to Carson Wentz that we didn't get around to it too much was that he never stated that it's going to be a fast pace again. Doug never mentioned it as well on the radio and or even during the interviews throughout the week. So they know that this was not going to be another, so-called fast-paced start offense again. So here we are going into the second half here momentarily, and it's not fast, yet it's not slow. It looks like glimmers of hope, but at the same time, we see Carson falling apart again. Now, do we blame it on the O-line? I'm going to say not, because we've seen where Carson held onto the ball too many times for 2 drives, would send him back again 13 yards. So what do we think is going to, again, or what should I say, is that what adjustments with Carson Wentz and Doug, if he's still making the play calls, what's going to be needed here in order to turn this thing around? Because at least unfortunate or fortunate, they're still in it at 14-3.
I just guess you're going to have to come out throwing the ball because you're going to take too much time off the clock. How about you, Mike? What do you think?
I mean, they're going to need to effectively run the ball. First of all, there's absolutely, positively no way that Jalen Hurts gets in this game. So long as the Philadelphia Eagles are in a possibility of winning this division, there's no way that Jalen Hurts is going to see the field for a significant time. They just got to continue to run the ball, try to effectively run the ball, and see what they can do. And by the way, Joey B, I'm from Philly. Wawa hoagies stink. Wawa hoagies stink. They're terrible.
Right. I will say maybe down here in Tampa, actually, they're doing a pretty good job down here as far as the Wawas.
Is the bread that good down there? Like it is up here?
They're shipping it. Yeah, they're shipping it from back home.
From where?
Good job.
Lucio's.
Yeah. So they're not using local stuff here.
Sorry.
Everything's coming back home from Philly, minus like maybe a couple of vegetables for the most part.
Zarcones. Zarcones or Lucio's.
Yeah, have to be, because I'm telling you, you get some of the sandwiches down here, you'll definitely get a better taste. We were expecting big things from Zach Ertz. We're not seeing big things from Zach Ertz. Again, does it fall back on Carson Wentz for things not happening with, unfortunately, Zach Ertz, who came back off the injury list?
The offensive line is not protecting him. He's been sacked too many times today. And look, I know that I've been a basher of Wentz this year, where he hasn't made great plays and some ill-advised throws. But, if he doesn't have time to throw that ball, he's going to be setting himself up for failure. And putting Jalen Hurts in the game, if you have a banged-up offensive line, it's not going to help by putting Jalen Hurts in there. Philly will turn on him real quick. And it's really not their fault. It all lives and it starts with that offensive line. Playoffs.
I mean, I think Wentz is playing one of his, he's getting rid of the ball, but, like I said, he's been sacked at least. I would say 3 or 4 times at least. But like you said, Mike, you got to get back to running the ball and get the tight ends involved.
Yeah, the run was working effectively.
They had an effective first drive in the first quarter. It took about 7 minutes off the clock, and they came away with points. And Green Bay has obviously made the adjustments, and now Doug Peterson is going to have to make some adjustments at halftime to find a way to not let this game slip away from them. For anybody who was on the show earlier, all 3 of us picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. And I still believe the Eagles can win this game, but they're going to need a big defensive stop early in the third quarter, maybe create a turnover and do something. Maybe Doug Peterson comes out with an onside kick to start the second half.
One can
Oh,
only hope.
Andy Reid.
Exactly. Joey says that LOL Wawa has a pretty good meatball hoagie. Nothing likens a good deli though, which is very, very true. Travis Garrison says nobody is open at all, which is, yeah. Well, then again, it's how Joey's making a reference there, Travis, that at least Wawa's open, so maybe Wawa can come in and do a play. I don't know. Joey says Philly going to be calling for Doug's job if this becomes a blowout. We talked about that earlier, Joey, and I'm pretty sure, and thanks for viewing it earlier. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be maybe the current call for Doug if it comes down to it. I mean, it's been hearing the grumblings again. The articles came out today that that Doug is on the hot seat, so we'll see. I mean, this could be his last game, but one never knows. Sean Superfat Austin says Wentz needs to show some emotion. He's getting killed out there. Get those guys, getting those guys' faces, which is very, very true. And Sean, another major contributor to our show, we appreciate it. Joey says, bottom left guy, I just pulled my left hand getting out of my lazy boy for a Bud Light.
Oh my God.
Grab me one while you're at it.
Joey
I already got one.
So I don't know. I think we got about 2 minutes or so before the half kicks off again. So I don't know. We're going to see. Could this possibly be Doug's last game? Could Carson be sat down come next week? I mean, I'm pretty sure, my cousin out in New England, who's probably the only Eagles fan that's out that way, as soon as the games are over, he'll let me know that, hey, Carson sucked. We need to get him out. He always has his opinions, and this could be that turning week. There's many things that could go fatally wrong at the end of this game, and Travis get the last comments in here. I hope he is on the hot seat. I can't take any more of his play calling. Like I asked Travis and the way I asked you guys, and you all listened and viewing the show, then who takes over at this point?
I don't think Doug gets fired till season's end.
I agree 100%.
I can't see Laurie pulling the plug now. I think he's just going to ride it out, and I don't know. I mean, if they, God forbid, if they lose today, and what other games, whatever's left, I guess you do bench Wentz. See what you got left with Jalen Hurts. It can't hurt. You drafted the guy in the second round. Take a shot.
Absolutely no chance of that happening. The Giants are losing 5-0 to the Seahawks right now. The Eagles will still be in playoff contention come next week, whether they win or they lose this game. There's no way that Doug Peterson is getting fired, and there's no way that Carson Wentz is getting benched unless he gets injured. No way, no how. End of the season, totally different story.
I say Wentz does get benched if they keep losing, because you got to see what you got with Jalen Hurts. I mean, they talk about, first team reps, this and that during the week. Well, give him a shot.
It could be. We got a couple comments coming back in here. It says David Strizak, if I said the name correctly. I agree with Joey. Be a good deli is very commodity grade food. See, this is the great part about the show is that not only can we talk sports, but we can also talk about the sandwiches in between because it just makes it so much fun. So we don't regulate it to just sports. We can talk about food and all those good things. Tom says Green Bay found a new lawn inspector. Mark says 28-6. Packers see y'all next week, fellas. Mark, thank you again for viewing the show. Travis states one of you guys that could take over, I guess, for the Eagles. Who knows? Laughing out loud, and Doug is terrible, and unfortunately, he is. Joey Biz says, I'm a North Jersey guy. I respect the delis and bottom left guy.
I want Howie's job.
And Sean says, I'll give Doug and Carson one more year, but Howie has to go now. The funny thing is, Sean, that they've already stated that Howie is here to stay, unfortunately. He will not get a hall pass for 2020. So he's going to be here. Now, can things change? Can Jeffrey Lurie decide to say, you know what, enough's enough? Who knows? Because no one knows at this point exactly what's going to end up happening. But yeah, Howie is the big problem plaguing his team. So get rid of Howie. Maybe see what Doug does come, next year and who we end up getting as far as during the offseason here. Matt Patricia from Joey B says would be a perfect no.
Nah, it's all right.
See, Joey, that's where the line was. Yeah.
That's where the line was. New England.
Yeah.
To be the defensive coordinator.
And that's where he's going to be. That's where he's going to end up back there. He's not a head coach. No one's going to end up picking him up. And Joey, no. That would be the worst thing for Philly other than what we're dealing with right now. So, of course, the half is back underway. The Eagles 14-3. We'd like to thank everybody for the comments that came in there. Travis, David, Tom, Mark, Joey, of course, Sean. We appreciate you, Tom, as well. Thank you guys. And Benny Two Tacos. Can't forget him as well. So Thank you guys. We really do appreciate you guys coming back on at the half. We will see you next week. We have, I believe, another 425 start, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
So we will see everyone next week again at 3 o'clock for another great time on Broad Street South Sports Talk. For my co-host, Mike Fuji, for the sports contributor, Mike Sherman. We will see you guys all next week. And if there was a comment that came in there, I don't believe it did, we will end the show that way. So, guys, thank you. And everyone else, let's enjoy this. Oh, sorry. Nope. One more comment that came in. Let me squeeze it in real quick before we take off. Joey Big says, see you. Take care, fellas. You too, Joey. We appreciate it.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. Go Birds.
Keep
Fly
bringing it
Eagles, fly.
On the
Let's
road
hope-
to victory.
in. I got nothing. And with that, we say goodbye. So see you guys next week.